Kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington.
All right, welcome into the final show of Tick Weeknights. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington got the host as always. Joining me via stream. You guys can join in. Starter Haven text line 402-464-5685. Streaming only as we still got Royals baseball going on versus the Brewers. That is, I do believe it's the bottom of the 8th inning, and Milwaukee Brewers leading over the Royals 0-5. But with that being said, let's go ahead and bring him in. Chancellor Brewington, how is it going on what's been a pretty chilly Tuesday here in Lincoln, Nebraska? Chancellor Brewington, can you hear me at all?
Hello.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Sorry, I'm trying out a new mic right now.
Quality sounds good for all that it's worth there.
Okay, there we go. But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm in Texas right now. Got some family stuff. Everything's good, but some family stuff. But it's a windy one out here in Texas. Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I can't complain a lot. It's been a good month of sports. Everything's clicking in the right direction. Nebraska basketball, hey, they got a win. They got a March win. It wasn't in March Madness. It was not in the NIT, but it was in the college basketball crown. And I'll take any postseason win for that program that I care about. Maybe a little bit too much at times. I just want to see them succeed. But they got the win. They beat Arizona State. And as far as everything personal, like, I think it's pretty easy that we get caught up in our lives, but I'm healthy. I don't got any terminal illness going on right now. Like it's really easy to take for granted your health when you are healthy. So I got that going for me, and it's been healthy for a while. So knock on wood, but can't complain. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, for real. I think, bro, I was on an airplane coming here, and I was like, obviously in the sky. That's where airplanes fly. But I was looking out the window, and I was seeing like all of Nebraska. It was like the first 15 minutes of the flight. I was seeing all of Nebraska. This probably was like the southwest region of Nebraska that I was flying over. But I was seeing I'm seeing like thousands of houses, right? And I was like looking at like one particular house. I'm like, I wonder, what this individual is going through, right? What this person in this house is going through. And I'm thinking about it from up in the sky. I'm like, man, I have no problems up here, right? Like I see thousands of houses. Like there's probably thousands and thousands of problems. And I was just thinking like, man, not that life is meaningless, but it's just like, I think we worry too much.
Oh yeah.
I think we worry. And I think when we raise like our awareness, raise the level in which we think about things, I think all those things start to just kind of fade away, and you feel like so separated from those issues. But I was thinking about that on the plane right here. I was just like, man, there's just so much to be grateful for. Like
it's crazy. I had that pretty similar thought not too long ago. If you want to go full tinfoil hat and really want to hype up the small towns that I grew up in,
come on now,
light pollution, I think that is not like a major issue, but I think that actually hurts people more than we realize. Like, you've probably been in a spot that there isn't a whole lot of light pollution, and you can actually go look up at the stars. And it's unreal when you're actually in a location where there is no light pollution and it's just an open night sky. Like when you actually see all the stars and everything that's going on, you get that same feeling that you had when you're up in that plane. Of like, this is way bigger than me. And when you anybody who's seen like a true night sky, not just some stars out on the night, but go out somewhere where you're in the middle of, there's no big city anywhere nearby you, and you'll see that sky light up, and it's a humbling moment. And I do think, humanity just like never really seeing that, as most everybody lives in cities, and even small towns can do enough light pollution to ruin that. Like we do we get the sense of everything that is going on is happening right here in front of me on Earth. And
Wow.
we would kind of lose that reality of just like how not insignificant we are, but how small it really is. And like, there's way bigger things to worry about. Like, then how does my hair look this day? And then when you look up at the stars, that question seems really stupid.
Yeah, I'm reading a book right now. It's so funny you said that. I'm reading a book. It's a book called Taking the Quantum Leap, and it's the history of quantum physics, right? And it literally goes from like Zeno to like Aristotle to de Broglie to like all these famous people, right? And they all like came to kind of the same conclusion that there's a lot of things out there that we don't know, and the unknown is realer than we think. And so it kind of goes to that same thing that you think of, like, man, like there's so much to be humbled by, and I don't mean that in like in a limiting way. It's almost like it's so humbling that it's almost expansive. Like it's almost like, man, world is so big and I'm a part of it. Like, like it's like that type of,
It
like,
invokes curiosity, a good
yeah,
curiosity.
a good curiosity that, like, how do I fit into this? I think that's how it is. It's like, okay, like this world is big. Like I'm up in the sky, like all these, just seeing the cloud structures, not only the cloud structures, but the shadows on the ground from the clouds, like seeing all these things. Like you have a completely like flip perspective of reality, right? From up in the sky. And you're like, okay, well, how can I apply this to my life? Like seriously, like how can I apply this experience of Mother Nature to my life? Like, man, I could take this thousands of different ways, whether I apply it or not, right? The lesson was still taught. But no, I think there's a real need for that, especially in the busy day and age where we consume like, more than I think it's like what we consume in a day from social media and just information is like what an average person in like the 1500s would have consumed in their whole lifetime, or in half a lifetime, or whatever it was, right? Or in a whole year, whatever the actual stat was. But no, I think there's a real need to just like slow down a little bit. And really, I'm probably just talking about my own life. Usually when you give advice, it's really about what you're going through. But no, yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think the people who kind of have seen life like as the bigger picture, but also seeing how they fit in it, have been like people I admire. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and we had teammates mentoring hour earlier today, and it's crazy some of the stats you hear. It's I can't remember, I could be wrong on this, but I think it was middle schoolers. It's like 80% of them claim to feel loneliness on a pretty consistent basis, which is crazy at that age. And we're talking about like 80% of the kids, like there's like a loneliness epidemic, which is just ironic in the era where it's easier to reach people than ever before via email. But like, that's part of that stuff's just not real. It's real. Like the internet exists. Obviously those messages exist, but I don't know, there's something about that community interaction. And, again, I just think we're losing that, and it's hurting the youth more and more as we get more invested into we're kind of a recluse society at this point. You go back 20 years, I think people were a lot more open and vocal 20 years back then, even more community based. And yeah, the further we go down this road, it's less about community and it's more about it's on you, go get your own and make your money, make your own life. And that's good and all. But sometimes I do worry about that family dynamic. It's like family's good for a lot of things, and building that community and keeping that purpose there. And I think a lot of people leave, and that loneliness persists.
Yeah, I saw a stat. It goes off the same thing you just said. I saw a stat, not a stat. It was actually a clip from Jeff Bezos. He was talking about AI, and he was discussing people are always talking. This is him saying that two are always talking about what AI is going to change. He said instead think about what AI is not going to change. And I think one thing it's not going to change, and I think way society has always been, is like authentic and human interaction. Like what we're doing right now, like taking time out of our day to sit and talk about a subject, topic, whatever, something I feel, you have a different opinion, I have a different opinion on some. We come and converse it, people watch it, whatever, right? But it's like this like authentic communication between two individuals. Like I think that's kind of what it's going back to. Like you kind of see like seminars and conferences and group events and retreats kind of like coming full circle, and like people are kind of like wanting to invest in those things, because I think human interaction and like community is what we're lacking. And I think that stat of lonesome that's brutal. Like that's
it's sad
that's
to
alarming,
hear.
Right?
Well, it's just terrible to hear that. Like you think about that's the next futures of the world, and they feel forgotten. Like that's not a good thing for any society to have, is a generation of people that just feel totally forgotten, and a lot of it, I imagine that's where that loneliness comes from. But yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing. My hope is that the pendulum's kind of swinging, though. As you mentioned, I think society has to go on these pendulum swings, and I think people are having a realization that community matters, and that the further we get away from it, the more it actually is hurting us. And the whole AI thing's crazy. I don't know how you feel about AI, but it scares the living daylights out of me, because I think community is the thing that we're lacking most, more ironically, more than anything else. And AI seems like the surefire way to wipe out whatever humanity's left.
Yeah, Naval, bro, I gotta figure his name. Naval, I think his last name starts with the R. He's like a creative. He's kind of in the tech world, but I would say like a creative guru. He has a book out. I think it's called The Almanac. I haven't read it yet, but I heard it was really good. But he was on a podcast and he was talking about what AI won't. He said, if you want to compete with AI, create. He said, because we are the creative geniuses in this ecosystem and in this world, right? Like we're the creative ones. So he was just talking about, like, if you want to compete with, AIs, people are saying AI is going to take jobs, whatever. He was just talking about create. And I thought that was so awesome, because it's like at the core essence of who we are, I would say we are in somewhat creative, right? In most religions.
All we are. We're obsessed with making things better. That's all we've done since the dawn of time, is take something and have a relentless desire to just keep making things better. It's the best thing about humanity.
Right. And if you go to any religion out there, I mean, they're going to say that whatever the source is, there's some type of creator, right? And they call it creator, and that's kind of the terminology. And obviously that language has some type of prevalence, right? And so I think if, people talk about, made in image and likeness, then we have to be some type of creative, right? We have this left hemisphere and this right hemisphere of the brain, and this right hemisphere is where our creative juices are. And if we activate that, we've seen in EEG scans that, man, we can produce some pretty amazing things out. We were discussing on the last show, the Steve Jobs, or a couple shows ago, we were talking about Steve Jobs, and I was thinking, like, man, like, talk about like the creative process that he went throughout his whole journey. Like, it's like he set out to literally, he said from a get-go, he said he wanted to create a ripple in the universe. And like, my gosh, did he? Like, literally the technology we're using right now is kind of like, I'm using HP, but I mean, my phone right now that I texted you on before the show, like, he really did. And I think he said, forget what quote, it might be Einstein. He said, the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world will change it. Like, those are the ones who can change it. So I don't know. I just got deep respect for creative people and people who really go and accomplish stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the crazier the feat, the bigger the ripple. I mean, that's with anything in life. Like, nothing worth doing is easy, and nothing worth doing doesn't require some sacrifice. Because, like, you want to go to Steve Jobs, like, you can read a lot of his stories and hear a lot of his suffering in the early days, where either he's making the wrong decisions, firing people, or I think he gave the story where he he thought he was making keyboards, and it was like, no, you're making the full set. We need about 50 of them. So yeah, there's a lot of lows in it. But if you're gonna go out and set up to, accomplish big things, like you're gonna have to fall on your face a few times. Elon Musk with the rockets, I think a few of those blew up at first. Even Savannah Bananas, shout out our guy Kyle Perry down there, the owner of the Savannah Bananas. You think that place was sold out year one? No. Everyone was like, what the hell is Banana Ball? This sounds stupid. Flash forward where it's at today, it's sold out, and it takes years just to get into a game, and money isn't a problem for those guys anymore. So yeah, it always takes risk, and I think with anything great that we have today, the people behind it typically had to take some really big risk. AI is just the one where I'm not willing to take it. That's where I draw the line. I don't.
And that's respectable. I'm sure it's so funny. I would love to hear the conversations in like 100 years of like how they view things, and like, if they were to look back on this conversation, they would probably laugh at it and be like, either way, like you guys don't know what you're getting into with AI in the negative way, or like, guys, this is going to change the world in the best way possible. You guys don't even know it yet, right? Like, you don't.
Or their computers, they have no emotion. Just ones and zeros, baby. They don't care.
Just Y's or N's, yes or no, no in between. No, but I do think I think with social media and just the information that's available, you have access, to the negative stuff, but you have access to so many stories. You have access to so many stories, and like the information you can gain from them is invaluable. I don't know if you can put a price tag on it, because the experience or the application of that information to gain an experience, like I've seen it in my own life, and I was like, wow, like, geez, like I missed out on this, and I encourage people to go, look something up for themselves. I encourage people to just try something new and push the boundary and push the limits and see if they like something, and see if they don't like it, and gain new experiences, and then also be able to reflect on the old experiences too. I heard a great philosopher. He said, experience without the emotional charge is wisdom. So being able to reflect on your past and go to a certain situation and extract the wisdom from it without the emotional charge, like that's key. And I think that's what a lot of people do when they put out their stories, they put out content on, their lives and stuff. And it's like, man, obviously a healed person has to do that, but I think those type of things are amazing. But what's going on in the sports world that's been hot right now, Harrison?
Well, obviously March Madness, as I stated at the beginning, Nebraska ball, they get a big win over Arizona State. Bryce Williams drops 30. We're just incredibly spoiled with that guy. I was telling this to Demarni Pearson. It's like, we're spoiled with Bryce Williams. Me and Austin Norman on the post-game show last night, it took us, I think, about 45, 50 minutes in, and then we're like, oh yeah, and the leading scorer of the night was Bryce Williams with 30. It's just that expected with that guy now. You just see it and you're like, yeah, 30, that sounds about right. But no, I mean, he just deserves so many tips of the cap for what he's meant for the Nebraska basketball program. I mean, the guy has been electric. He looks more comfortable than ever out there. And, he's a guy that just says all the right things all the time. And that's not everything. But when you go, after a brutal loss to Iowa at home that nobody wants to talk or go to the post-game press conference after, for him to basically sit down there and along the lines of saying, I'm ready to go play, not backing down from it in any sort of postseason chance that they get. And then guess what? He does it. He shows up. It's never just talk with Bryce Williams. And that's by far what I respect most about him. Is like, there's certain people, and them too, I'm sure in your life, Brewington, where they talk a lot, not much happens. And then there's people that don't talk a lot, but when they do talk, it moves. And that's certainly Bryce Williams.
I think that's one of the players that you just love to be around.
Oh yeah,
because I'm sure throughout, I don't know his journey, but I'm sure throughout his journey, the older guys that left Nebraska that played with him probably always saw that within him, like always knew this was going to happen. I think that's like the funnest part when you see a player that like has all that potential and you like played with him, practiced with him. Maybe he wasn't getting the reps, right? You're like, man, I always thought like there was something with him. And then all of a sudden it pops and everything clicks. And you're like, man, like, remember, you hit your older teammates, like, remember when we were talking about, him such and such. But no, I think it's respectable when someone evolves into a person and then they like their actions reflect their words and their actions reflect who they are. Like that's it, right? And in the sports world, I mean, I don't know if it gets better than that. And I'm not saying like he's at this crazy level, but I am saying like I would say that every great one got to a level where they started to just believe in themselves differently, and people were able to notice it over a period of time. Like I remember like playing with Palmer Trey, and it got to a point where like you saw the sparks early, like you saw some sparks, like, man, this dude gonna be something, right? And like spring ball, like fall camp, and then kind of took a little bit to get going in the season, but all of a sudden when it clicked, you're like, man, I'm happy for him. Why? Because like you knew it was gonna happen eventually. You just didn't know when. And so I think I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say he kind of falls into that category. Like you knew it was gonna happen, you just didn't know when.
Yeah, I won't be that kind to myself. I didn't know it was gonna happen like this. The guy's an animal this year. I knew he was gonna be good. I knew he was gonna. Him coming back with Juwan Gary, you knew that was a massive deal. So not to say that we weren't aware that we're getting a big time player back. And that's why there was some excitement for this season. Was certainly he was one of those names we're going to have eyes on. But I mean, there's games he carried the team for entire games and just tough shot after tough shot. I'm impressed more than anything by the guy's consistency all year long. It's one thing to be like good. It's another thing to be good and consistent just about every game. Very few games you'll find where he didn't quite have it. And since we're on, before we go to break, we'll throw in Juwan Gary as well, because that's one thing those two guys both do really well is just that authenticity. Might not always get you wins being authentic, but it certainly gives you a fan base that loves to root and support you. Juwan Gary, very much of the same. He's a guy that, really states a lot how much he appreciates and loves this university and being a Husker. He was even on some of the shows here, I think, with Kendall O'Neill on Off the Field and off air. It's just a nice guy, just a guy that looks truly grateful to be wearing the Husker jersey. And he played pretty well as well in that Arizona State game. 18 points, and it's a good thing they won. As I said before, we'll get to see them play a few more games here. Their next one is tomorrow. I believe it's 7:30 Central Time. I could be wrong on that, but it is tomorrow night, and they have Georgetown. And the winner of that one between Nebraska and Georgetown, they will face the winner of Boise State and Butler. So hopefully Nebraska gets another win tomorrow. Austin Norman's down there. We'll be able to talk about that as well, but we'll throw it to break. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos, and obviously Brewington, the host, streaming in. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2. What's Brewing? Chancellor Brewington, the host, is always joining me via stream. You guys can join in, sorry, him in text line or any of the streams, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Chancellor Brewington, segment number 2. I will give you the floor. We did get some comments from John Butler at the press conference today. And like I said before, some Husker basketball news. Husker baseball took an L today. And I think that's my recap on Husker. Oh, and shout out Husker bowling. They're taking off for regionals tomorrow morning, 7:30. Somehow did get the number 1 overall seed, despite being number 1 in the RPI and number 1 in the coaches poll. A little bit scandalous voting going on in the bowling world. But make sure to root for those guys, as they should be the 1 seed, but somehow they are the 2 seed. I don't know about bowling, but I can't figure it out at all. It makes no sense.
How are you bowling?
Me?
Yeah.
Straight.
What does that mean?
No curve to it. We're just shooting it straight and fast.
Oh,
and,
no. I mean, like, how are you good?
Oh, like 130,
Okay.
170 on a good day.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like a 120. Like I got to fight tooth and nail. I'm usually down to like the last two rolls at the end to win the game. Yeah, but not the best
drive
bowler.
up the spares usually because I don't have the curve to it, so I end up with a lot of one pin standing situations, and just the accuracy carries through. But I can't do any of the crazy stuff. I can avoid the gutters and I can throw it straight. But the people that put in the spin on it, I don't know how they're able to do that.
That's not me. Curry just dropped 50.
He's having a quiet, unreal year.
Yeah, it's like 12. He just had 12 threes. I think this might be their final game, if I'm not mistaken. Or this might be their second to last game. Or, oh no, they have a few more. But it's just unreal, man. Like the amount of things he's doing, LeBron's doing. I don't know. I'm not familiar with how KD's doing. But just like the amount of older guys that are playing at a high level, it almost like my mind initially goes to, okay, how many years do they have left? But also, what does this mean for the younger generation if they're seeing guys play to 40? Like, is that going to be the new norm? Like, is it like breaking the 4-minute mile? Like, what happens? What happens in 20 years when Victor Wembanyama is 40 years old? Like, is he still playing? Or like, is Anthony Edwards playing till 38, 39? Like, what's happening, is it recovery? Is it, body awareness? Is it the athletic evolution of humans? Like, whatever it is, or the science of basketball, the weight, the load management, I'm sure you were probably thinking that.
I think it's yes to everything above. Like science, load management. Load management's where I chirped in because I'm extra passionate about it, but it's all those things.
Yeah, I think I could only imagine what it's going to be in a few years or 10 plus years.
Here, how about a little bit of trivia for you since we celebrate Steph Curry? How many 50-point games does Steph Curry have in his career now?
Ooh, 50s.
50 pieces is a lot. I mean, that's a big number.
I wish I had a gauge of like what someone else had.
I think like the record is probably in the
like
40s.
Okay, 40. Okay, so around there.
I'm thinking like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar probably had some monster.
Right.
MJ definitely had some. Kobe had some.
I'm gonna say like 27.
No, that's way too high.
Okay. 14.
Close. It was 14 until tonight. 15.
15.
Yeah, tonight made it 15. How many does your guy LeBron James have? The oldest.
One in the finals. I know that.
And those count.
Probably like 7.
14.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got 14.
Dang, I doubted him a little bit. I wonder how. Is MJ on there?
Oh, of course he's on there. You know exactly who I was Googling next.
I'm probably like 26.
31. Sounds like something the GOAT would do.
Go Kobe. Go Kobe. Last one, Kobe.
I bet you it's more than MJ. Or more than LeBron, I mean.
Of course.
25.
25? Okay.
Man, their careers were so much shorter than LeBron's, too. It's crazy how they had that many games where they scored more.
Now you can go triple doubles and see who the real man is.
Jokic, Russell Westbrook.
Or
yeah, obviously your guy LeBron James is can't even do the cool triple double though. It's 27, 7, and 5.
That's not triple double.
No, he's a great player. LeBron's fun to watch. Like I won't.
No, yeah, we're not going to do this. Warriors and Lakers play here soon. I didn't realize how many games are left. There's 6. Warriors have like 6 more games. I think that 7 more games. That might be average. Yeah, a little bit more than I thought. I think I think this will be a fun postseason. I think there's a little bit of like edge in some scenarios. Kind of like Cleveland's interesting in the Eastern race. Like Boston is Boston. I think New York has an interesting team. You got Cat there. You got Brunson there. Indy has really stepped up. They've impressed me this year, man. Like they've Halliburton. He's done a great job this year. Then Detroit with Kay Cunningham and some other guys. Detroit's been cool, but then that kind of speaks to like that's a 42 win team, and that's what Detroit is, 42 wins. They would be 9th in the West. So it's like you do it with a little bit of grain of salt, of course, and then on the West, I OKC, we've talked about them. We're gonna have to see like what they're really, is it just a young team, kind of like Memphis a couple years ago, or is they got some real backings? I mean, you got
they need a Pacers run. Last year, the Pacers run that they had with Halliburton, I think is what set them up for. I think the Pacers are a good call. Pacers are frisky. They're fun.
Yeah.
Halliburton's offense, really fun. They play, like you said, up and down the court. They have a chance to upset anybody if they're having a good day. But that's what OKC needs. They need to run like what the Pacers had last year. Get out of the second round at least.
Let's go this, Harrison. Let's go playing in the West right now. Who do you got? So we got Minnesota playing Sacramento. And we got the Clippers playing Dallas. Who do you like there?
You said the Clippers are playing Dallas?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they be playing?
Is it not 7-10?
8-9? 9 and 10.
Okay, so you got Minnesota playing Clippers, and then Dallas playing Sacramento.
Yeah, that's what it'd be. Dallas doesn't need to be there anymore. Get them out. Kings. And then Timberwolves over Clippers. That one's not too hard, I don't think.
That would be a fun one. And then that would put the
Mavericks might lose every game on the way out the door. It might not even be in it. They have like 7 guys on the roster at times. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like if you would have told me 5 years ago that Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving were on a basketball team together, I would have said like, oh yeah, they're slotted somewhere. Like they're gonna. And then you go and see like, there's no offense to this, but like you kind of see like the production of the rest of the roster, and you're like, oh okay. Can I repick? Can I redo this? But yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for Dallas Mavericks fans still.
Whew.
Like that'd be me being a big time Derrick Rose fan, and they trade him for no reason. Like that's kind of the level of what Luka Doncic is. I mean, there's no how many players in the NBA right now are better than Luka? 2 at most, I think is what people would say. 3.
Yeah,
I think you put Jokic up there, and then you can argue between guys like Giannis, guys like LeBron, but Luka's in that conversation where you're arguing already.
Right.
And yeah, so that's why I'll never forgive the Mavericks. I'm not even a Mavericks fan, but just like shady business to be doing that to your own fan base. What about the East? East is a little bit more interesting because they're all just bad. So you don't know for sure.
Orlando and Atlanta. God, dog.
It'd be the Magic and the Bulls playing each other, and then the Heat and the Hawks.
Oh, I thought we were doing the same model for last one. That it was 7 and 8.
We do it. The 10 seed is the play-in, right? So your 8 seed plays the 10 seed in the play-in, and your 7 seed plays the 9 seed for their play-in.
Got you. Okay. I'll go Orlando. I think they're playing decent ball right now. They've been
got them over the Bulls.
Yeah.
Bulls are hot right now. Josh Giddey's out of control. Hit that buzzer beater over your Lakers.
But also, I mean, what's his name? Paulo. He went and tore up the Lakers the other night.
He's not, but Paulo Banchero.
He's nasty. He's nasty. Like he's gonna be if he needs to be on a Showtime team. Like, not enough people see him play. Like, I barely see him play on like ABC or any of the big television games.
No, it took like one of the most exciting centers we've ever seen in Dwight Howard for the Magic to get any real airtime. You have to be unreal to get the Magic on national television, but no, he should. Paulo Banchero's a problem. The Magic are getting better. They're in the East. They're not like a real threat. But if they keep adding pieces and keep Paulo Banchero's development up, that's a team. Give them like 3 years. Watch out for.
Yeah, and Orlando. Florida's no income tax. Got a little tax break. Florida has. Orlando. If that's your type of vibe, but that's like a semi-attractive city to play in, right? It's not like you're going to Memphis. It's not like, no offense to these places, but you're not like you're going to Portland,
Detroit, OKC.
Yeah, like there's something. They're Utah. Like there's something there. Like there's like it's Orlando. Was at Disney World, whatever is going. All these different attractions. I don't know. It's a more lively place.
Disney World. It's got
Disney World. Yeah. Yep.
It's got ORLD, and that's how you remember that.
That's a good little trick there.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from.
That was good.
I gotta like revoke my man card on that.
My God, that is useful though. But
right,
no, yeah. There's the other side of that too. Was that Atlanta and
Atlanta plays the Heat? Yeah,
or Heat? Yeah. I don't even know, bro. Is Trae Young playing right now?
Yeah, Trae Young's a guy that just faded away. Let's look at his last game stats here. See how the Trae Young has been playing.
24 and 11 right now. That's
29 points, 15 assists. Like, he's good. Their defense just stinks. So
who else do they have? Jeez.
Not a lot of guys you would know. Karis LeVert's down there now.
Okay.
Terrence Mann. Rashar's down there. Zachary Rashar.
Yeah, that's they had so funny not funny, but the Hawks had a real who they have. Who's their big Capella?
Yeah, Clint Capella. They had DeJounte Murray, I think, too.
Yeah, they had some pieces.
They made it to the conference finals in the East.
Who'd they play?
Boston.
Was it Boston? Oh yeah, I was about to say I think it was Boston, but they had a squad and it seemed like they was just like like it was never. I wonder how long Trae Young will stay there for, because I think it will probably be mutual at some point that like this just isn't working, right?
Maybe it could be like Damian Lillard too. He was just true and stayed there until the very, very end of his career.
Yeah. Do you think
that's a rarity?
Do you think that fits his personality though?
Seems like it. I would have gotten the hell out of there already if I was him. So the fact that he's still there, he's getting paid. I'd have to look at when his contract expires, but I like the thing with Damian Lillard. He showed a lot of loyalty to that city, but that city loved him.
Man,
like they would have rioted if they got rid of that man, more so than what the Mavericks did with Luka. I don't know if Atlanta's in love with Trae Young as much as they are with Dame. So the office could make that move, and they obviously like Trae Young a lot, but I don't think he means as much to the city as like what Dame meant to Portland.
Would you say that Trae? You would definitely say that Dame is a bigger star, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think that shot over Paul George. I would say that's one of the more iconic buzzer beaters we've seen.
Yeah, I say it all the time. That was the first poster I grabbed for my NBA buzzer beater wall of posters. First one was because I saw that shot and I immediately was like, I want this poster. And then not too much further later, we got another epic one, the Kawhi Leonard Game 7 shot in Toronto.
Oh my gosh. And it's so funny.
The same year. That was probably the best. All right, maybe we should end on this. Go ahead and say what you're going to say, because what I'm going to say is probably going to derail it.
Okay. I thought the reason I thought it was so cool was because you had Embiid kind of like coming in to block it, and the tip dance thing on the rim with the ball, like it was like did it like frame by frame. It looked like it was going to go out, and the reactions were it was phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I think you had like 5-6 seconds to react.
Yeah.
It was gut wrenching. Like if you're wanting to go in or wanting it to go out, you're like, oh my God, this shot just has to make a decision here. I was going to say, though, I think that was like one of the best NBA runs we've ever seen. Think about when was the last time there was ever that much excitement in the run like that? Because you remember that's, Trae Young waving goodbye to the Knicks. It's getting mouthy over there.
Oh, yeah. You're
and
right.
then you get this crazy Toronto Kawhi Leonard run. I don't think that was the year the Heat beat the Bucks, was it? That was the year after?
No, that was the year after. Yeah, that was COVID. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been insane if that was the same year as well. But I just remember that run in particular being so good. And also Kawhi Leonard might be the greatest finals run we've ever seen from any player.
And it was remember they had the whole dilemma with who was out for the Warriors? Was it Klay Thompson?
He might have been out.
I think Klay Thompson was out, and it was a whole it was Kawhi's time. It was literally like the heavens opened, and it was Kawhi's Leonard finally to be acknowledged for how great he is, and that was really the last time we've seen him play as himself, healthy and all.
Yeah, and that was just insane to do that and then not come back. He goes, wins a ring all on his own, and fair to him, he said it before the season, like nothing would change my mind. They're like even a national championship, and supposedly the story goes like no, not even that. And
Right.
They got championship, and he's like, well, no, I said so. I'm still not coming back. The city's cold. I want to go back because I think he's a California guy originally. So it makes sense for him to go out there back to the Clippers after that. But no, he's going to be one of those players who
might get lost in history. No.
Yeah, he might. And I don't. Defensively, he might be so good that he doesn't. But just the way his career's ending is hurting him in a way that it shouldn't. But he's having a lot of it's just injuries. Like as much as I complain about load management, Kawhi Leonard is not a guy abusing load management. That is a guy that just is seriously injury prone and has had a lot of injuries late in his career. But I always think like even if he would have stayed with the Spurs back in the day after what was it, Tim Duncan, and can't remember who they lost to. But that was kind of the end of like the Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, Kawhi Leonard run. And if he would have stayed on that roster, he might have had like 3 more rings.
I think he lost to LeBron.
Was it LeBron in the finals?
Yeah, I think it was.
And that whole thing evaporated.
Yeah. And that team was, I mean,
unreal. Such a good team. And Tim Duncan missed that buzzer beater at the end, I remember.
That team was ridiculous. And it was ridiculous before Kawhi got there too. And it was like you add in a guy that can, and it's interesting when he was with the Spurs, it was like offensively very like you didn't really know he was going to turn into what he was. Like, I would say
watching that finals game, that series, because I just remember that was the first time I really watched Kawhi Leonard, and I knew Tim Duncan, and I was obviously rooting against LeBron because I liked Kobe. And I just remember watching this Kawhi Leonard guy, like this guy is insane,
right?
And even then I didn't know it was going to keep going the way it was going, but that was my Kawhi Leonard moment, was that finals, because he had some games where he won it. Like he came in there and had major moments off the bench, and then eventually just insert himself to that starting lineup. But yeah, that was the coming out party for Kawhi, and also was the ending party for Kawhi Leonard in an interesting way. And I just always think, man, that's brutal. You're bringing me back to bad times. The damn LeBron James team evaporated another what could have been dynasty in the Spurs.
Yeah, because then before that, it was what you're talking about the Celtics more so.
Well, it was like the Spurs had a dynasty kind of rolling already.
Yeah,
and it just kind of that was such a devastating loss that I think sometimes you can end a dynasty early. It was going to end eventually, but what the Lakers did was put the stick between the wheel spokes and just made them fall flat on their face.
What were your favorite matchups I would say last 15 years.
That's a good question. The
Yeah,
best
you have
matchup
your
we could have got was LeBron James versus Kobe in the finals, but LeBron lost to the Magic. I mean, Heat Bucks obviously a good one. Yeah, draw that out. Would that not be number one on your list? The Kobe LeBron James finals matchup?
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
It would have been. we never got it because one guy on the other side didn't make it. That's all I'm saying. We could have had it, just didn't have it that year, or any year for that matter. So Bucks Heat, Mavericks Suns, just because the way that played out was insane. How everyone was super high in the Suns, including myself, and then the Mavericks dust them like 130 to 70. I think that was like the final score of a Game 7 in Phoenix. That one was a really fun series. Was probably just the most crazy finish. You got to throw in Thunder versus Portland. That's Damian Lillard buzzer beater. Game 7, that's the Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater versus the 76ers. There's a bunch in there that I know I'm probably forgetting. You could throw any of the Lakers Cavs finals.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs coming back 3-1 has to be the one you go for, though. Those are ones that come to my mind right now. Like I said, I'm probably missing some really great ones.
Yeah, I think I was a fan of, like, I would say matchups a little bit more like player. I used to love the when KG and Dirk matched up together. I used to love
Dirk versus the Heat. Yes.
Yeah, Dirk versus
All-timer.
Heat. Those were, I mean, amazing times. I love the Suns era with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire. I thought that, and Grant Hill, kind of like a faded Grant Hill, a young Jason Richardson, or actually a mid-aged Jason Richardson, Sean Marion. Like, I used to love that Suns team. I like watching the Celtics. I thought that Celtics team was awesome. Chris Paul. Remember when Chris Paul was with the Hornets?
Yeah.
Him and David West. Oh my gosh.
David West was nice back in the day.
You know who else was nice was Joe Johnson. Do you remember Joe Johnson?
Yeah. I do remember Joe Johnson.
Joe Johnson was a dog. And he had another dude with him on that Hawks team. I forget his name right now. He was like a small forward, a dog. I used to be a fan of the Boozer games. Boozer had some good moments with the Bulls and the Jazz.
Yeah, he played for the Jazz for a bit.
Yeah, had some good Luau Deng. Come on, Harrison.
You're throwing out the greats right now. You get yourself a Dang. He belongs in the NBA. That's not much of that much. Those guys are so many Dangs in the NBA.
Luau Deng. He was a good one.
We'll wrap up with this because I think we kind of leaned on it. It'd be a great question to tie everything together here. Give me the better finals run? Kawhi Leonard with the Toronto Raptors or Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks?
I think Dirk. You mean you throw in the banged up Warriors team, and then you throw in what the Heat, that same Heat team. You add in a couple pieces, but that same Heat team the next year was, I mean, I think they won like a 25 game win streak or something insane, and like was one of the best teams of all time. LeBron, like, yeah. So I would say that Dirk, and they had a pretty good team. I think they would have had Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, Sean Marion, or no?
Jason Kidd was actually on.
Or no, he was on Nets.
He was on that roster. You're right.
Okay. And then they had
Barea.
Yeah.
JJ Barea. Corey Brewer. That's another iconic NBA name. Tyson Chandler.
That's who it was. Yeah. They had some pretty good teams, but Dirk really put that team on his back.
Yeah, and he was so good. And I was looking at the teams they faced. I mean, they faced a good Portland Trailblazers, Marcus Aldridge Trailblazers, and then when they played the Lakers, that was a Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol Lakers team. Nobody in their right mind was picking the Mavericks over that Lakers team. And then they had to play OKC Thunder. Who did OKC have on that time?
Was that the three guys?
James Harden,
all three of them? Russell Westbrook and KD?
Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Perkins, Kevin Durant, James. Yeah, that was that Thunder team.
Serge Ibaka?
Yep, Serge Ibaka. They beat those guys in that run.
Goodness.
And then, of course, they beat the Miami Heat. So
yeah,
they
that's
beat
iconic.
The Lakers, Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol combination. You can say what you will about the Portland Trailblazers, but they had a really good record heading into it. Then they go on and they beat the OKC Thunder that had the Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and then they go beat Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and anybody, your big three, Allen on there as well. That's
he went and beat
iconic teams he ran through.
He went and beat 6 of the greatest, I would say 6 out of the 12 best players of all time. Oh, not all time, of the past 20 years.
Yeah.
In that run. That's insane.
I'm glad you agree on that, because as much as I love Kawhi Leonard, I was looking through those playoff teams and I was like, he defeated every great player that we know today in the last 20 years. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Shout out Kawhi Leonard and Dirk Nowitzki. I agree with you, though. I think Dirk Nowitzki might have the throne for the best playoff run we've ever seen. Chancellor Brewington, appreciate the time as always. I'll leave you. What do you want to leave the people with?
Yeah, man, stay blessed, be blessed, and just like we said at the beginning, just be appreciative for what you have. Zoom out a little bit. Just zoom out just a little bit.
Perfect. We'll talk to you guys again Thursday. Have a great rest of your night.